Everybody needs a little beacon like a fire in the night. So I'm working on believing that it could be me, that I could be the light. I'm not afraid, I am unbreakable. I'm not afraid, I am unshakable. I'm not afraid to be the light. La Yehudim hayta ora, La Yehudim hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason b'ikar. Yai nai 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 nai, 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 Yai nai 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 nai. I know that you're with me, I can feel you in the corner of my mind. So I'm taking what you're giving and I'm using it to help me be the light. I'm not afraid, I am unbreakable. I'm not afraid, I am unshakable. I'm not afraid to be the light. So from now on, I'll give the best of me. Yesterday's gone, a new one's ahead of me. So from now on, I'll be the light. La Yehudim hayta ora, La Yehudim hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason b'ikar. Yai nai 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 nai, 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 Yai 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 nai 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 nai.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom. I am so glad that we can be together this evening, hopefully with a fair bit of turkey or tofurkey or whatever your Thanksgiving meal of choice is still in our stomachs. It is a blessing to get to be together in sacred community, beginning on page 2 or on the screens, words of Hine Matov, how good it is that we can be together this evening.
It's page 10.
Page 10. Thank you. Page 2, we'll get to for the candle lighting in just a moment. I'm so excited for everything that goes with tonight's candle lighting. I just can't focus. Page 10 in our prayer books, or the words on the screen.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We turn back now in our prayer books to page 2, where we find the kindling of the Shabbat lights on page 2. And it is a pleasure to invite Monroe forward, along with her mother Shira, along with her grandmother Alice. Would you come up to help us light the candles? Are you up for that? Friends, we're on page 2.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
All right, proud grandmother, if you would be willing to have a seat, so you have a front row seat, and Monroe and Shira, if you would stay right up here. Ellis, would you bring your dad? Ellis and Ed, would you come join us, that we might get to celebrate in this moment? You know, we're told that light is one of God's first creations in the book of Genesis. And one of the magical things about light is that when we use that middle candle to light the other two, we simply added to the light in the world without detracting from the candle that was already lit. And so too it is when we add a new life in this world to this growing family. We take all of the happiness you feel and just add to it. Maybe we add a little bit of sleeplessness, but we add so much joy and so much warmth and so much light as you bring new light, new life into this world. And it is an honor to ask upon you blessing in this moment as we welcome Ellis into the community of the Jewish people, first with a welcoming Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'hachniso bivrito shel Avraham Avinu. We praise you, God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to enter this young man into the covenant of Abraham our father. And it is a blessing to get to use your Hebrew name for the very first time. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu kayem et hayeled hazeh laviv olimo v'yikra shemo Yisrael Eliezer ben Noach v'Shira. Yismach ha'av b'yotzei chalatza v'tagel imo b'fri vitna. Zeh hakaton gadol yiyeh keshem shenichnas lebrit. Kein tichanes l'Torah u'lechuppah u'lema'asim tovim. Our God, God of our mothers and fathers, sustain this child in his parents' loving care. Let him be known among the people of Israel as Eliezer. May his name be a source of joy to him and inspire him to serve our people and all of humankind. May his parents rejoice in his growth of body and soul as they bring him into the covenant this day. So may they, with wisdom and with patience, lead him to a lifetime of study of Torah, to a life of good deeds, and to a marriage partner many, many years in the future, worthy of you and worthy of God's blessing, to which we all say, Amen. Would you be willing to say a few words about his name?
Yes, yeah.
Please, can I put you right over here so that all of our friends at home can get to hear too?
Great. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you for doing this, Rabbi Meyer, and thank you to the family for sharing this moment with us. Eliezer, well, first of all, this is obviously a really important moment to be welcoming another person into the Jewish community, and that's not lost on us. So thank you for sharing it with us. Eliezer was actually inspired during a 2017 trip to Israel with Mark and Alice and Shira and I, which was a lovely trip. We took a ride with one of their friends for the whole day, and he mentioned at one point he had a friend named Laser, and the name really just stuck with us. And the trip was just so wonderful, and we've talked about that name for such a long time, and so when we had to choose one for him, yeah, that's what we went with. Yeah. So. Thank you.
And as it is a pleasure to invite forward your father and grandfather, Rabbi Mahler, allow me to present you with two gifts on this occasion. The first is the certificate that we have created in recognition of this day. And the second is a piece of artwork just for Ellis. On Tuesday, we had the blessing of hosting here at Temple Emmanuel an interfaith prayer service, and one of our friends from the Turkish Cultural Center, the first Muslim community to reach out to us after the terrorist acts in Israel, created this special piece of calligraphy using Ellis's name. May it be a wonderful keepsake from this day as you go on to do great things. Please, Rabbi.
And now it's my pleasure and privilege and nachas, along with Rabbi Meyer, to pronounce upon Ellis the blessing of our people.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisav Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. V'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence always shine upon you, and may God grant you peace. Believe it or not, when I sing to him at home, he loves it, he smiles. And let us all say,
Amen. Congratulations. A delight.
Thank you.
Good to see you. High five. Boom. Mazal tov. Congratulations. Hey, man. Unnecessary. Of course.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
turn back in our prayer books now to words of Psalm 96 as we welcome Shabbat into our midst along with Mr. Ellis. We're on pages 13 and 14, or using the words up on the screen. I'm already in a roll. We'll get to Kiddush later, I guess. Pages 13 and 14, we invite you to join with us.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
On pages 20 and 21, we continue our welcoming of Shabbat, welcoming this day into our midst with words of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el ha'michad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem tiferet v'lit hilah. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likat Shabbat lechuvenecha, ki mekor habracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshvat tchila. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki va'orech kumiori. Uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We invite you to rise as is comfortable.
Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam simcha u'tzola, toch emunei am segura. Boi chala, lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela.
The way I see it, this world is broken down into two types of people. Those who prefer their cranberry sauce, where you can still see the rings from the can, and those who would prefer something maybe a bit more authentic, chunks of cranberry, maybe something else mixed in. Would you turn to the people beside you, and as you wish them a Shabbat Shalom this evening, can cranberry sauce or the real thing?
Thanksgiving. It's perfect.
When you have finished your Shabbat greetings, when you have finished saying hi to those around you, we invite you to be seated so that nobody feels outed or put on the spot. I'll go first, as from the can is actually the better way to go here. Anyone with me? I'm getting a lot of looks of disgust. Thank you both. Fantastic. I found my people.
Both being the operative word.
Indeed, indeed. Friends, we continue on page 24 now, words of Shalom Aleichem, welcoming God's ministering angels into this space with those friends we have just greeted.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Ni Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
In the middle of page 27, would you join me in the English? Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways.
Yitkara v'yitkara shmei Rabbah, be'amad yivrach yirtei v'yanich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayedecho b'd Yisrael. Bakala, bakala, uv'yizman kariv, v'meru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach, ve'olam olam me'amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha brichu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimeru, amen.
Our service continues with our Baruch Hu praise found on page 28. If it is comfortable for you to do so, we invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we join together.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Yai lai lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai
And together on the bottom of page 31, this is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And on the bottom of page 33, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, pages 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, u'chtavtam Amzizot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem gedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
In advance of our Mi Chamocha praise found on page 40, would you join me in the English on page 41? Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai la lai lai la 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 lai. Yai la lai lai la 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nera b'kodesh, nora tehilot sefer, nora tehilot sefer. Malechutecha uvanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zehlianu ve'ameru, Zehlianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
It is day 50 since October 7th, and on this day we got some good news that some more than 20 hostages were released, 13 of them Israeli. But in the words of Yoni Asher, whose wife and 2 children were returned this day, he says, quote, "I am happy, but won't celebrate until all of the hostages are returned." We feel a sense of gratitude for those who remain alive. We send a sense of hope, a sense of healing, a sense of prayer for the well-being to those who remain captive and those who are impacted by this war. Words of our Hashkivenu praise can be found first on the screen in front of you, followed by the Chatimah, the very conclusion of the blessing that can be found on page 42.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Turning to page 259 in our prayer book, we add our prayer for the state of Israel on page 259. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzor Yisrael v'Goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Gulatenu, Hagein Alecha Bevrat Chasdecha, Ufros Alecha Sukhat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'amitecha L'Rashecha, Sarecha V'yoatzecha, v'tachneim be'etza tova milfanecha, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam leyoshvecha, v'nomar. Amen. And on the screens before you, a new piece of poetry composed this week by Hannah Yerushalmi. Each and every woman has her own way of kneading dough, of folding a sheet or greasing a pan, of signing a contract or threading a needle, of arranging the pillows or flowers or her anger. Each and every woman has her own special way of stifling a yawn, or hiring an employee, or sweeping the floor, her own special way of opening the door to greet the dawn, her lover, or her grief. Each and every woman has her own special way of answering a call, or cutting a cake, or seasoning meat, of picking a peach, or running a meeting, of longing for quiet, for balance, or for her missing child. Each and every woman has her own special way of rocking in pain, of falling apart, or sobbing in silence, or waiting desperately for redemption. We continue with a song, with a prayer for strength for those in need.
Lo ira merivavotam asher saviv shatu alai. Lo ira merivavotam asher saviv shatu alai. Kuma Adonai vehoshieni. Kuma Shieni Lo ira merivavotam asher saviv shatu alai. Lo ira merivavotam asher saviv shatu alai. Kuma Adonai vehoshieni. Kuma Adonai vehoshieni.
I will not fear the thousands that surround me. Rise up, O God, and save me. We turn back in our prayer books now, marking the sharp juxtaposition between our prayers for those who suffer and our prayers of Shabbat. Yet we're taught that Shabbat is 1/60th of the world to come, and we hold a little bit of Shabbat as a life raft in this challenging world, striving to take it with us, striving to extend it to more in this week ahead. We continue on page 44, words from the biblical text, V'shamru v'nei Yisrael.
V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, מריץ עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
We continue now on page 46 and following with our Shabbat Amidah. If it is comfortable for you to rise, we would invite you to again do so as we join together in prayer. Adonai
sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatacha. Adonai, open up my lips Let my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Lifnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Vezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Novlim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'agevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yalelucha salah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue silently with the prayers of our tradition through page 62, or with the silent prayers and meditations that can only come from our hearts. When you have finished your silent prayer this evening, we invite you to be seated.
In the middle of page 62. Yehu levatzon imrei fi v'gyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'gavali yehu levatzon imrei fi v'gyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'gavali
As we turn in our prayer book to page 253 for our Mishaberach Lecholim, it is an honor to invite Rabbi Mahler to join us on the pulpit to lead us in this prayer for healing. If there are loved ones you are thinking of in need of healing, of mind, of body, of spirit, we would invite you to share their name as is comfortable.
People of Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine.
Mason Martin, Regulation. Angela Bernfeld.
Baruch atah Adonai Rafeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, God, who brings a measure of comfort to all who are ill. Page 253. Thank you, sir. As Emily and I were speaking, preparing for this service, I realized that the obvious sermon was one connecting the gratitude that we feel on Thanksgiving to the release of hostages that we anticipated and indeed saw this day. But the purpose of a sermon is not to give us exactly what we were expecting. And so recognizing that the post-Thanksgiving crowd would be the few, the proud, and the brave, I thought we might try something we haven't done together and take a look at a piece of poetry. On your way in, you received a text that on one side had the biblical text. For those joining us at home, you can see that text on the screen now. And on the opposite side of the page, a piece of modern poetry. You see the text from Judges chapter 5, and we're told, turn it and turn it again, for everything is in it, our sages said about our sacred text. When I first learned this piece of text, Judges chapter 5, with my teacher, Rabbi David Aaron, we focused in on the human emotions of verse 28. Our sacred text, known for its terseness of phrase, is so in tune with humanity that it can twist and tangle raw emotions with but a few brief words. But first, the backstory. Yael an Israelite woman, is portrayed as the heroine in verse 24 for stopping the opposing foreign general Sisera from his 20-year reign of terror against the tribes of Israel. She does so through the bit of deception revealed in verses 25 and 26, lulling him to sleep either with food and drink or with after-dinner activities. Our sages debate that point, before ending his life. The narrative of Judges 5 then shifts from Yael's tent to an image of Sisera's mother. We know the fate that has befallen Sisera. He's dead now, but his mother doesn't. Verse 28, through the window peered Sisera's mother. Behind the lattice she whined, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why so late the clatter of his wheels? As readers of this text, our hearts break as we empathize with this fearful mother. When is her child going to come home? Who doesn't know the fear of a loved one delayed? And our hearts break with hers. Until we get to the next verse. Verse 29. She too replies to herself, they must be dividing the spoil that they have found. The mother of this opposing general is able to soothe her mind by imagining her son dividing up his ill-gotten gain and by greedily imagining what he might bring home for her. With this verse, she goes from a sympathetic figure, a mom waiting for her son's late arrival, to one who seeks to gain material benefit from her son's warring ways. What he's doing in verse 30, a girl or two for every man, pieces of dyed work embroidered for my neck as spoil, abduction, force, looting, becomes justified in this text and glorified by his mom in ways that we can't understand and destroy the sympathy we felt but a few verses before. This text, thousands of years old, was reinterpreted by Israeli poet Chaim Gori. I struggled to date this poem. Certainly it was before 1986, when some of the papers that I read preparing for this sermon were written. But I can say a bit more about Gori's life. He was born in Tel Aviv in 1923, a city so new it was celebrating its bar mitzvah year. Gori served in the Palmach, the elite fighting force of the Haganah in British Mandate Palestine. He fought in the War of Independence in 1948 before studying French literature at Hebrew University and at the Sorbonne. Gori knows the terrible price that Israeli soldiers paid in wars, and he takes a markedly different tone than the biblical text. It was years ago, he writes, at the end of Deborah's song. I heard the silence of Sisera's chariot so long in coming. I watched Sisera's mother captured in the window, a woman with a silver streak in her hair. Gori, too, just like in our biblical text, empathizes with this aging mother staring out the window. But unlike the biblical text, he locks in on this emotion and attributes to her only purity of thought. It is her maidens in the next text that are so focused on the spoils. The mother is only focused on her son, whom we alone know to be dead. The maidens eventually fall silent as they realize that Sisera will not return. The sun sets. The afterglow of previous successes has faded. Yael has done what she needed to do to stop the 20 years of terrorism, and for 40 years, the land knew peace. No war was had for 40 years. No horses galloped or dead horsemen stared glassily. The mother with whom we empathize died soon after her son. Gori's poem asks us to confront two harsh realities. One, the only way to end Sisera's reign of terror was to kill him. And two, doing so comes at a tremendous human cost. Unlike in the biblical text that erodes our sympathy for Sisera's mother to help us feel better, Gori makes us confront an impossible reality. Sisera's mom was humanized with streaks of gray in her hair. She was grieving. She was a mother waiting for her son, and his silence reached out and mingled with hers. War, Gori seems to be telling us in his writing, is terrible, even when it is necessary. And we can hold the reality of being brokenhearted while also believing there may be no other choice. To do so authentically, we have to live in the depths of despair and try not to portray those whose lives are being lost as complicit, even if it makes it excruciatingly harder for us. Shabbat Shalom. I would encourage you to hold on to those texts, to get a chance to read Gori's poetry in greater detail. It speaks to the heartache and trauma of this moment like few other pieces I have seen. We turn back in our prayer books now on page 282 as we find words of Aleinu L'Shabeach, our prayer for a better world. Page 282, and when you have found your page, we would invite you to rise if it is comfortable.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'ador hakol, l'atid gdula l'yotzeh breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchakenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You are welcome to be seated. As we prepare for Kaddish Yatom, our prayer on page 294, we call to mind those whom we have lost and those whose memory remains with us as an everlasting blessing. On this Shabbat, we mark the yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Estelle Baskin, Bernard Berger, Esther Berkowitz, Jeffrey Burnson, Myron Bleiberg, John Bodnovich, David S. Cooper, Joseph Freeman, Murray Friedman, Sarah First, Irving Gibbons, Morris Graff, Harold Guggenheim, Abe Garal, Celia Isaacson, Joseph Josephson, Leonard Judd, Jacob Kaufman, Rita Kahn, Ray Lehman, Rosella Levinson, Larry Levkoy, Esther Bella Meislish, Jeannie M. Marple, Richard Motzman, Louise Parker, Bertha Peresman, Milton O. Peresman, Isaac Rappaport, Peter Rosen, Ida Ray Rosenberger, Jerome David Rosenblatt, Isidore Rotman, Rose Schwartz, Rudolph Schwartz, Frank Simons, Mina Sperling, Phyllis Stein, Marvin Abraham Tachna, Cheryl Turoff, Margaret Garfinkel Weiner, Dorothy Weiner, and Herbert S. Wolf. If there are others whom you are remembering this Shabbat, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I would invite you to share their name at this time. Yehi zichronam livracha. May the memory of our loved ones remain with us as an everlasting blessing as we turn to page 294 and rise in sympathy and support with those who mourn as together we affirm words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudisha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. A special thank you to you, Rabbi Emily, for jumping in this post-Thanksgiving Shabbat, to Marley for helping to lead us in the technology for those who are joining us online and make preparations for the wonderful oneg that is soon to follow, with gratitude to Mark and Alice Mahler. Emily reminded me at the beginning of the service that I was so excited to get into Shabbat that I skipped the welcome of Shabbat that is our Friday night Kiddush on page 5. And so I would invite you at this time to flip the whole way back to page 5, that we might recognize the sweetness of Shabbat, this juice, in preparation for the sweetness of the cupcakes to come. As we continue with Kiddush, I would invite you to rise as you are comfortable. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha me'ava u'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Rabbi, please, would you join us to lead us in a special closing prayer this night that needs absolutely no introduction. here at Temple Emmanuel of South Hills. We join in those words with which we began, recognizing the sweetness of coming together as community tonight.
Shalom.